Hello and welcome to the DFS_PhD show for today, the 15th of May. Remember, you're good enough, you're strong enough, and gosh darn it, someone's got to win that money. Might as well be us. So yeah, I took down a couple of different things in the WNBA, had a pretty good lineup that I thought that was hanging out in first for a while, but then some sharper dudes popped up to the top. But it worked pretty well. I followed the Dolson call from Cody. Thank you, Cody. And now I have a $164 satellite and ticket and a $98 Queen of the Court ticket. So these will be like what, 5, 10 man, 20 man competitions. That'll be fun. I like to try those kind of qualifiers sometimes. Okay, as always, we're sponsored by PredictionStrike. Don't have any news on this week's MMA yet, but use promo code PhD to get your best deposit match deals, and then come around this time of week, watch the videos that you want to get ready for the slate, and then make your purchases on PredictionStrike based on your leans. Okay, so I'll put down about probably 4 or 5 units. The next couple of days, whenever we get stuff there. Oh, also, I am now for every weird lock time of pick 6, I am putting up the fill rates in the Discord under pick 6 picks and strategy. I'm also using props.cash to find like basic picks, 1 or 2 of them, because you only need like 3 of them as it happened this morning in MLB to make value. Also, let's do a little bit of review. I have a little bit more time this morning. Pulled something at basketball, so I couldn't do my usual routine in the morning. So I wanted to do a little review and make sure, first of all, that we're not doing anything that would stop us from getting to the right lineups, because Tom won again, the second $100,000 win I can remember for the stochastic, whatever, president, CEO, something or other. But his lineup, I should have gotten to it, right? Like I was trying to figure out, I was scratching my head last night, like why did I not win? I was telling you guys about the value levers. If you look over here, they've made it a little bit better now that they show your ownership on this. So you can see Nickeil Alexander-Walker, I had a ton of. Miles McBride, I had a ton of. But the problem is I didn't have any Jaden McDaniels. I didn't have any of Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. Those are both, and I can see why, right? I would traditionally say those are not very high upside guys. I mean, Jaden McDaniels didn't get to a very high upside as it is. It's just KCP hit all those threes. I don't know how often that's going to happen. I mean, 5 to 15% is probably what I would say. He was 10% owned. There's no leverage to be had. But still, I think the problem is I've been telling you guys on short slates to leave salary on the table to get different. Tom won $100,000 on a 2-game slate using full salary. So don't do that. Don't do what I was saying. I'm not doing that anymore either. So yeah, let's see. Sim ROI positive. Yeah, so these were good lineups. I'm surprised they weren't duped. I guess not a lot of people. The Nickeil Alexander-Walker ownership was only like, wow, his ownership was like 19% or something. So hope you were with us on that play when you get an early day downgrade. This is, I mean, it's the playoffs, but that's still basketball. Like that's still meaningful. So today we have the news, right? We have Donovan out. So with Donovan out, and I mean, I'm also assuming that Allen is out. I haven't seen anything more on that today. Let me check it. Just to quickly go to Underdog and check. Underdog WNBA telling me, yeah, so Donovan unlikely to play. Just to go back and kind of whine about the WNBA for 1 second. Don't tell me somebody is available to play. Morgan Birch, available to play. Great. Didn't play. So if somebody doesn't start in the WNBA, they are not safe. I didn't play as much as I was thinking of early in the day, but nonetheless, she's a good point per minute person. She play, I mean, I think so. She can fall into a 20-point game, no problem at min price. Anyway, so for today's slate, you're playing a ton of Cavs to start with. Obviously, I mean, this is not tough to figure out. The reason we're not leaving any money on the table is that not just the first lineup, but the second lineup, the third lineup, all the way down to the top 20. Nobody outside the top 20 left more than $300. So in my build today, I'm not leaving more than $300. That's how it was during the regular season. I'm guessing that's how it's going to be today again. The reason being, we have an extremely inefficiently priced slate as a result of Donovan Mitchell getting hurt, right? And Jared Allen presumably being out as a result of, like, I mean, let's just look like maybe underdog dropped the ball on Nickeil Alexander-Walker. In the jersey, the starter's jersey, Jared Allen. Just see if we got any early videos or anything. It's still a little early. List. Jared Allen's still questionable. Cavs lose tonight, they would be done. So I think that's what's going on. Is I think Allen doesn't want to admit that he can't play, and that's the whole thing. So he's going out there every day, taking a bash or two in his ribs, and still unable to play because he's like, "Ow, that hurts." And yeah, you're not getting better either because you're out there taking a bash every day. So anyway, I don't expect him to play, and as a result, these are the guys who are going to have the minutes if they have a chance to keep it close. Karis LeVert smashes. Max Strus smashes. Darius Garland smashes. Evan Mobley smashes. Isaac Okoro smashes. Or sorry, one of Isaac Okoro or Dean Wade smashes. There's no possibility otherwise. I mean, the reason that SaberSim isn't all the way with what I said is they still are projecting Jarrett Allen in, which means Strus doesn't start or gets less minutes. Whatever reason we got 18% Max Strus today is absurd. Also, go bet his overs. Like that's something else I don't normally do a lot of talking about prize picks and stuff. But Max Strus line at 3.5 assists, he had 10 potential assists last game. What's different this game? Is there something different? No, he's going to do just as much playmaking, maybe more. I mean, same thing with Garland. Garland's line is 6.5. What was it he had? He had 13 potential assists. He could have 15, no problem. So, I think Strus is where you'll find, if you can find about 5+ assists for Strus or a 6+ line with like giving you 4 or 5x, you should probably do it. Anyway, so keep an eye out for terrible mispricings. It was oh yeah, I made I should probably mention I won like $400 yesterday because I told you all. Remember, I was on all over the right place. That was part of my let's do a review. I told you about Miles McBride. I told you about Nickeil Alexander-Walker, and I was so surprised they left up all their alts and all their lines unmoved. So I was betting the Nickeil Alexander-Walker lines. I was betting the Miles McBride lines all day long, and as a result, freaking up like I don't know 400 was it, oh just yesterday I don't remember about $400 between like prize picks and pick six and everything. So yeah, like there's edge out there in the playoffs. People are not responding to news. Books are not responding to news. They don't have their regular season like, finger on the trigger for some of these things. So anyway, let's see. I've said what I have to say for about just Cleveland. So let's talk about the rest of the teams on the slate. So first of all, you're plugging and playing Karis LeVert in the circumstance I am thinking of, probably even if Allen's in. I mean, LeVert's just going to, at 5K, mispriced, going to score 30 for sure, probably pushes for 40. Max Strus, absurd. I mean, I don't get it. I don't get it at all. You gotta project him for more points. I project him for a little bit more ownership, probably even. He's a great player. Like look at the court IQ for the two games where both Donovan Mitchell and Allen have been out this year. It's only happened twice. I'm talking about Max Strus, right? He's played an average of 42 minutes. 42, and he's scoring 37 fantasy points per 36 minutes, and he gets 4 more. So you really should project him for 41 points. I just that would break my lineups, right? Like, but that's right to do. Like, I don't know. I just got to. I mean, yeah, but so Strus really has to hit those shots. I'm not going to push him even higher because 65% is already maxing out the amount of Strus I have. And we've talked about Cleveland enough. Talk about the other guys. PJ Washington is the other main misprice still around. And so with the combination of LeVert, Strus, and PJ Washington misprice, you can basically play anything you want. And I mean, Mobley is also mispriced a little bit because of his usage. Garland's same. So slamming a fair amount of the mid-range chalk from the Cleveland team is when you got one place for value, what do? You go to that one place and you play the value. So that's what I'm doing here. And yeah, I think you should probably play it around the same way. Let's look at how you're playing it. Playing more Shea, he's fine. I'm a little bit off him. I'm way off of Horford. I still think yeah, they're playing in minutes, but he's a body out there. And honestly, I think they look a little better with Kornet. I don't think it's a great matchup for Horford. So I'm just gonna get killed with Horford again, and I guess that's because 40% Horford. What's his upside? I mean, I literally gotta check it. What's his upside? Am I missing something? Was he playing 40 minutes? Played 28 minutes. I don't know what we're doing here, guys. 40% Horford. So way off, 40% Horford. I probably got to take him down a few minutes. Yeah, he played 28. That they're projecting him for a little bit more. So I'm not even going to be on whatever amount of Horford I am on right now. He's out for me. What Kornet though? We had a fair amount of. I thought I saw a little bit. 20 minutes of Kornet is not something to forget. That is not something to take lightly. 20 minutes of Kornet. What are we projecting him for here? It's not 20 minutes. Nope. Projecting him up for 11 minutes. Get out of town, guys. You got to watch the games. Kornet was in that game a lot, and he looked good. So we're going to have some Kornet. We're going to have to rebuild this probably, but I'll probably have 10, 15% Kornet. Whatever the chance. I mean, that's what they did in the last game. I'm going to have more than that, 20% Kornet, because they just, I don't understand it. I don't understand what this set of game sims is thinking about Kornet. This game was close, right? Like it wasn't a mega blowout. Yeah. And Kornet was getting, that's what I'm thinking. Whenever a guy's getting important minutes, that's where you go, huh? That's important. Like these minutes where they went to Kornet and Pritchard instead of like Derek White and Al Horford in crunch time. They only went back like at the very end. So they trust Kornet more than you might think, man. I'm surprised at the amount they're willing to trust Kornet. So that's a sign. You got to look at the signs in the playoffs. Read the tea leaves as best you can. For Oklahoma City, what's my sign? My sign is these Kenrich Williams minutes. Those were out of nowhere last game, right? Playing Kenrich instead of Gordon Hayward, and it didn't go bad. I mean, like Kenrich was fine, and like Kenrich is another guy who's kind of like Isaiah Joe, or he's in the mix with those guys on the wing who can get real hot. I don't know if you've played 2 years of fantasy, you've remember the slates that Kenrich Williams has won people the top prize. Kenrich Williams has like triple double upside if he's playing 35, 40 minutes a night, not in the playoffs. But you know what I mean? Like he can do everything. He gets a ton of fantasy points as well. So, I mean, we got 2 rebounds and an assist here in like a 6 minute stint. So, yeah, granted, he's not going to necessarily make a shot, but he could take a lot of shots. He could play. What I'm saying is, if you don't see Giddey start today, if Giddey is not starting, I'm going to take big shots on Kenrich Williams. Big shots. Because where does the Giddey minutes go? It's gonna go to one of, that's my rule, by the way. The rule here is one of Aaron Wiggins, Cason Wallace, Isaiah Joe, or Kenrich Williams. I don't know which one of them is going to get the massive minutes boost from these 12 minutes. Maybe they all get a little bit and I'm screwed. But I think probably one of them starts hitting shots and Dagnall starts riding them. Because I've seen that happen this year too. Even though he loves these rotations that are massive, he really does watch each game. Like he's not lying. He's just doing a dumb thing, right? Like it's dumb for him to keep playing Giddey. It's dumb for him to run him out there and then see, oh yeah, looks like with the Valanciunas situation. You shouldn't play that. You should play smaller rotations from the start, not starting Giddey if you play him at all. He's got to come in for like 12 minutes as gassing like Wiggins and Joe or whoever, but he can't be the plan. If he's the plan, you're going to be down by 10. You know what I mean? Like they got to come back in the second half. So his plus minus is not negative for the last game, but I don't know, man. I would not play Giddey. I don't get it. They even bad players are seeing Giddey out there. Like honestly, like after watching this series, I think I could probably beat Giddey on the drive. Like I'm not trying to be rude about it. Dude is not ready. Dude is not ready for NBA level defense, and he just like exudes it. You know what I mean? So anyway, and not just NBA level defense. He can't play against bigger people than him at all. Like he just so I big. Am I bigger than Josh Giddey? Height 6'8". Never mind. I'm not actually bigger than Josh Giddey. I am 6'7". So I could not necessarily back him down and smash it in his face the same way all these guys could do. But all these guys could do it, and they all know it. It's like, anyway, anybody in this game knows that they could beat Josh Giddey. And it's just hilarious to see, like, Chet. Oh, no, Chet's on his team. Who's on Dallas? So, like, PJ Washington looking like Superman out there. You got, like, who else is, like, potentially being guarded by Giddey on the wings for Dallas that's just having an incredible series? You know, like, anyway, that's why it's been so easy for PJ Washington. That's why it's so easy for the Dallas guys on the wing. That's kind of a lot. Okay, good. This is still sorted by value. Did I say all my rules? Let me make sure I've said all the rules before I move on to. Yeah, so you got Wiggins, Max. That's the one I just talked about. The Max 1, a weird auxiliary dude for Oklahoma City. Max 2 of Strus, Levert, or Merrill. Dean, Wade, or Okoro. Max 1 out of 2 Cleveland centers. By the way, that max 2 Strus rule goes to a max 1 rule if Allen is in. I think so. Obviously, Donovan is still out, and that's what affects them more. But I think usage-wise, this is a max 2 rule only if Allen is out, which is what I'm assuming. Anyway, max 1 of Lively or the backup guy. Sorry, currently starting Gafford. They're both playing similar minutes. They're both good choices. Max 2 out of 4 of these Dallas Wings. That is PJ Washington, Derrick Jones Jr., Josh Green, or Tim Hardaway. They can't all get there because you're still going to have the main guys playing. You're still going to have a center. They don't go small ball that much. They haven't gone small ball that much in the series. I used to have a max. I used to include PJ in the centers rule for that reason, but they're not doing that. Horford and Kornet, max 1 of 2, boost them both. That's why this current, I should probably just, how about this? I'll go click rerun because now I got Kornet in here, like properly done. You got to make sure when you add a rule that you've done both parts of both adding the rule and buffing the guy to the case you're talking about. Okay, so now I've done the click. We're going to go and check on that in a second. And we're going to talk about the showdown slate. This is only for the showdown slate that's like the $100,000 one, because who cares? Like, yeah, okay, we could all split 25,000 or whatever. But I'm not trying to give away edge for that, right? There's no edge as it is. Like, if I'm thinking about that slate at all, it's for me. All right. So for the main slate, I'll probably post my exposures, or if you asked, I would post my exposures in the Discord. But generally speaking, that first game is going to be just too much value anyway. I don't know. I don't know what to do with that first game. Play Levert captain, probably, right? Okay, but on this game, what I'm doing is I'm playing Kenrich Williams. I don't think people understand his chance of getting upside. So I'm going to play like 1 or 2 or 3 lineups of Kenrich Williams captain because he's min price. And, other guy you could consider doing this with is Jalen Williams, but he is 2% owned versus Kenrich Williams is 0.6. So, and also Jalen Williams isn't quite min price. I probably include him anyway and rerun this in a little bit because I convinced myself he's shouldn't be min price. Like, that's definitely a misprice on Showdown. Jalen didn't get that much time. If there's foul trouble for a big, he could also get some more time. Do we have that in the natural correlations, or do I need to build that? Let's look at Jalen, and let's look at his correlations with like who's the other big, like Chet. You should expect negative correlation with Kenrich Williams. That's not who I want. Negative 0.06 with Chet. Looks like it's mostly him or Wiggins going small or Kenrich going small. I don't love those correlations, but I'm going to trust that they come from a good place of data. So I'm going to stick with them. That's way too much Kenrich Williams. Obviously, I've broken the thing. If he gets there, he's a captain. If then, like, you know what? Yeah, I think that's it. Right. If it's him who gets extended, he should be your captain. He wins you the GPP. Yeah, he can still be there in the flex, but he can only be there in like 20% of lineups as a last man in. Aaron Wiggins, more like 30. Joe, more like 30. This is flex. So let's click apply and see what happens. And then look at again. Captain. Jalen Williams now, sure, but I think it's like a 15% chance he hits every shot and smashes. Great. Luka and Shea. Those should be your captains. That's definitely right. It's a lot of Derek Lively. I don't get 80% Derek Lively. What do you think? 40% chance he smashes. He's getting minutes. He's low priced on Showdown. He's a good value. Okay, so smashing up the good plays. Yeah, this looks good. I'll probably run something like this. A little bit of the shooters who are randomly in my 1 of 4 rule, and then all of the obvious values. PJ Washington, a little bit less than I was expecting. His price on Showdown seems to be a little higher than it was since he has won everybody the Showdown slates for a little while. But okay, now let's go back to the main slate and see where we wound up. Looking like a core of Levert, Strus, and Garland. Surprise, Mobley is also at the same level. So I guess I'm going to make my core pick 3 Cavs. Pick 3 Cavs, that's your core. And more, the 4th Cav. That's how we're doing it today. And yeah, if this game blows out, which, 15, this is their last game, right? Like, this is they have to win this game or the season is over for the Cavs. So they're going to play the guys like 40 minutes. They're going to give up as a last resort only. They might do the thing where you foul, even though it's a 10-point game with 5 minutes left or something. So if you wanted to bet something weird overs for Boston free throws, that would be fine. But yeah, I think that's pretty much, let's look at our leverage. I didn't do the leverage part. So my biggest leverage plays are Strus, Mobley, Levert, Okoro. Yeah, Okoro at 0.2% is something I just don't get. I assume he goes to like 15% when it's revealed that he's starting. Anyway, so I do expect that to happen. I told everybody to take alt over his last game on Okoro, and then he gets benched for the end. So can't tell you to do that again today. But it's still a fine move. I still like being over the field on Kenrich. I like over 15%. Nah, 10% chance he gets extended. It's not a big chance. Dagnall likes doing the same thing every time. It's like Kenrich doesn't just have to hit shots; he has to hit every shot. But if he comes in and hits every shot, I mean, he could be in there for a while. And he's a slasher too. It's not like he has to hit every three. He can be like, if he gets that dynamic, like that, I have no idea what circumstance Oklahoma City needs him to do this in this game. But let's say Shea gets in foul trouble, Jalen Williams gets in foul trouble. He kind of is a suitable random dude to run around and do similar stuff that's not as good. I don't. Does that make sense? I don't know. He's got that spark of idea. He's the idea guy for an offense. You know what I mean? You need an idea guy. He can't necessarily finish like those other guys, but he's a good idea guy. All right. All right, so that's kind of a lot. So I'm just going to say you're good enough, you're strong enough, and gosh darn it, someone's got to win that money. Might as well be us. Hope it's us.